I'm Brian Dale, Truck Insurance Insider, 25 years in trucking insurance, former underwriter, and I've run my own trucks. I know what this process looks like from just about every angle. And today I want to pull back the curtain on something most people in the industry won't explain. What a good agent actually does for you that you might not ever see. When your agent submits your account to an insurance underwriter, they're not just sending in a form, they're telling your story. Every underwriter who picks up your file is going to make a judgment call in the first 60 seconds. Loss history, CSA scores, fleet size, commodity, what state you reside in, or domiciled in, it all hits them at once. A good agent shapes that first impression before the underwriter ever opens the file. They call ahead. They say, hey, there's this account. Here's the context behind what happened in 2024. Here's what their safety program looks like. Here's why this risk is better than the numbers suggest. That conversation happens before your application's ever reviewed. And if your agent isn't having it, nobody is. Something a lot of people in the business don't think about. Underwriters are people. They have relationships with agents they trust. When an agent they know calls in and says, hey, this is a good account, that carries weight. It doesn't necessarily override the data, but it opens the door. I've been on that side of the desk. So I know what it means when an agent I respect calls me about an account versus when a submission just lands in the inbox from somebody that I've never heard of. The account with the phone call gets a real look. The cold submission just gets processed. Those relationships can take years to build. When you shop your agent every renewal, you're not just changing who sends in your paperwork. You're losing access to relationships that took a decade to earn. There's a version of this job where an agent takes your application, fills it out, emails it to 3 insurance companies, and waits. That's it. That's the whole job for a lot of people in this industry. And then there's a version where your agent knows your operation well enough to explain why a rough inspection period doesn't reflect how you actually run, or why your loss ratio looks the way it does because of one unusual claim that's already been resolved. That's advocacy. That's somebody in your corner fighting for your account when you're not there. Many trucking companies have never experienced the difference because they've never had both, and they don't know what they're missing. Well, I want to talk about something that almost nobody explains to carriers, and that's market access. Every major insurance carrier in this space tracks submissions. When your account gets submitted and declined, that can follow you. Some markets have long memories. If you let 3 different agents submit your account to the same markets, or if your agent submits before the account is properly positioned, you can burn through your best options before you even know it. And once a market passes on you, getting back in front of them is a completely different situation. It's very unlikely. Your agent is managing that footprint whether you know it or not. Good ones are deliberate about it. They know which markets to approach, in what order, and how to tell your story before the file lands on someone's desk. So next time you wonder why your agent matters, think about what's happening in the conversations you're not involved in. The phone call before the submission, the relationship that got your account a real look instead of a pass, the narrative that explained your loss history before it could be misinterpreted. That's what a real advisor does. The question worth asking yourself is, does your agent do that? Do you even know? I'm Brian Dale. This is Truck Insurance Insider. Subscribe because every video in this series is something your underwriter already knows and that nobody's bothered to